Hello and welcome to the BGCP Disassembled podcast, the official podcast for the Big Glasgow comic page, where we talk about the latest comics, movies, television, and other pieces of nerd culture. I'm your host or co-host for this episode, Massimo and this week I am joined by the lovely Daniel Boyd.
Heyo! I think I just messed up the recording. So if you're watching the video, then just forget about that you just see Woody Harrelson's face in the corner.
What?
Oh, I done it again.
What are you doing?
Hi! How's happening?
Oh,
right?
Jesus.
I'm here.
And we're joined by, after a few weeks of hiatus and being busy over the weekends, we're joined by Ben.
I'm invisible. But
yes.
You already knew that. Because you Yeah.
I mean, you could always superimpose the face of Woody Harrelson over your photo.
Please.
No, it's very
Give me an
Woody
afro.
Harrelson, so it's bad.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we need to do. So this week, as always, we have our topic of the week, and we'll go through the news and kind of latest stuff that maybe also appears on the website, and possibly, if we've got time, what we've been reading and watching this week. But we never make it to that, so we probably won't be doing that. But yeah, so this week's topic is... and let me get this right because this is a two-part. It's so this week it's TV shows that deserve to have films.
Yay!
Yay.
Guess what? I've done no research, so I'm just going to make this one up as I go.
As always, Dan is.
I've had plenty of notice.
The expert professional. We've had at least a week to prepare, and I guarantee that none of us have any good suggestions.
But look, I've got shelves in my room now, and I've got photos up. I've been a busy boy.
I've turned another year older.
Ooh.
I'm officially no longer a teenager.
It's really funny because see coming on today, I was just like, why is Mass so like authoritative right now? He's like taking charge and he's more grizzly now. What happened?
I
been gone for 2 weeks. Yeah,
exactly. It was my birthday the other day.
He's 1 year closer to becoming as cynical as me.
Exactly. 1 year closer to becoming Dan. God help me. Anyway, all this fucking Jesus Christ. All this going off the rails aside. So that's our topic for the week is TV shows that deserve movies. So these are the best TV shows that came in the crop that we think deserve feature length, big budget movies that deserve to have their story told over a shorter period of time, but possibly with better quality of writing or a bigger budget, depending on what happens. So, has anyone got any suggestions for what they think should be turned into a movie? That's a TV show.
Well, first off, this isn't a suggestion because it's already a thing, but they're allegedly making a Peaky Blinders film, which I'm bang up for. Like, what I heard was I think they're doing one more series, or maybe two.
I think, yeah.
And then they're doing a movie, like, to finish it, which I think's a nice kind of cap.
As someone who's never actually watched the show, but I've always been interested in it, like, I'd be well up for seeing a film of it.
Do you want to give a quick synopsis of what the show is, Dan, quickly, for maybe those out there who don't actually know what Peaky Blinders and why you think it really deserves a film?
Peaky Blinders is one of the best shows, at the very least one of the best British shows of the last 10 years. And I don't like British telly. Like, I much prefer, when it comes to dramas and stuff, I much prefer like Breaking Bad and stuff. I prefer British comedy, but that's beside the point. But in terms of British TV, it's phenomenal. It's Cillian Murphy, and he plays Tom Shelby, who is the head of the Shelby family and the Peaky Blinders gang. And they start off as like a gang, and then he kind of works his way up into like politics and high society, and it's all about like family drama mixed with like
gang violence,
murders and gang violence, and and dodgy backhands, like smuggling deals, and
it's what we would describe as a period drama because it's technically set in the UK, at Birmingham in the early 1900s. But I'm assuming you absolutely hate period dramas, Dan.
Yes, I do. Yeah,
sorry.
However, Peaky Blinders like supersedes that though because it's so stylish. It uses this awesome modern soundtrack with stuff like Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds and the Arctic Monkeys and all the rest of it. And it's, don't get wrong, it's a ton of slow-mo shots. Then walk down the street look badass in long flowing coats with like sparks flying behind them.
But it works.
And an Arctic Monkeys tune playing, but you don't get sick of watching it. Like, you do that every episode, you're like, this is so good. It's just a brilliant show.
There you go. So it's a pretty strong one out the gates. So Ben,
would you keep it the same cast?
Oh yeah. It should be a continuation. No doubt.
Oh, you think so? It shouldn't be like a remake or kind of
No.
reboot?
No. I think it's
episodes,
going to be like the end of the story that is in the TV show is done in a movie. I think that's the plan.
Nice.
Yeah, like instead of a final season, I guess. But I mean, you couldn't have anybody else. Like the cast are phenomenal. Sadly, the lady that plays Aunt Polly, Helen McCrory, passed away earlier in the year with cancer. She was only in her 50s, so that was horrible. But the rest of the cast are like amazing. Kelly Murphy's Tommy Shelby's incredible, and the guy that plays his brother, Arthur
Shelby.
the guy's his Paul something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's phenomenal as well. The whole cast are brilliant. It's just a brilliant show.
Mm-hmm.
It's something where I would probably watch the film. Well, if they're making it like that's going to be the big ending, I'll probably make it like a Game of Thrones thing then for me. Like I'll just the finale's here now, so now I'm just going to binge the entire series.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a chance, like I think the whole
they're
Netflix
really short. Like they're like 6-episode seasons. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Because it's British telly, it's like 6-episode shows.
Like,
they're all at an hour, and there's like 4 series, I think. So
you hear that, Americans out there? We did it first. Your WandaVisions and your Lokis.
Yeah. Quality over quantity.
We done the 6-episode or 3-episode TV show first, and it worked. Apart from the last series of Sherlock.
I was just about to bring up Sherlock. That's like there's only like 3 episodes to a season, isn't there?
Last series not so good. Everything else.
I was going to start watching it as well. Yeah, whatever.
It's great at the start.
It suffers Game of Thrones. The same thing as Game of Thrones.
Andrew Scott's Moriarty was phenomenal, man.
Oh, fantastic!
It's another thing.
Martin Freeman's John Watson's great.
Yeah.
This is another thing with shows, man. Like, we can probably talk about this in another episode. Like, actually, name a show that has a good ending these days. Honestly,
Breaking Bad had a pretty perfect ending, and
they
did a movie. They did
the El Camino.
And that was a really cool epilogue. And I would argue Sons of Anarchy had a great ending. Sons of Anarchy.
I think Community has a good ending as well. If you've ever seen that, like I know it's not a fantastic final season, but I think it has quite a satisfying ending. Speaking of Community, that is my pick for a TV show that deserves a movie, and simply because of the fact of, if you've ever heard it, it's the famous thing that the Community fans love to do. It's 6 seasons in a movie, and it's this hashtag 6 season movie. It's this big reference. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the show overall, but it's obviously it's like a multi-camera sitcom, but not really a sitcom. It's more like a comedy show, and it's written by Dan Harmon.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant it was like an in-joke or something. Yeah, not Community.
No. I just meant in general, like just just how familiar you are with the show. One of the things that in the show appears as one of the characters is like this big nerdy obsessed guy called Abed. Has a show that gets cancelled, and it does this thing where it's like 6 seasons in a movie. It's like a joke, and the fans took on that kind of moniker and have really pushed for that movie. And there's an article I wrote on the site a few weeks ago about how Dan Harmon has this weird moral like conundrum in terms of a Community movie, because he doesn't know who he would be making it for. Because want to make it for the fans, but also want to make it for people to be super accessible.
Yeah.
Also at the start of people's careers, such as like Alison Brie, who was at Mad Men at the time as well, and obviously Donald Glover, Childish Gambino as well, was also in that show. I love Community, and especially with my heart, and I think that if they were to do a film, as long as it expanded on the current story of Community, and added something new to it, it could be really good. It could be fun.
Yeah. Still need to go back and watch at some point. Community. I didn't finish it. Yeah.
I watched it through about 4 times.
I don't have the patience for that anymore. I've been watching X-Files for the first time for 2 years now.
You watched X-Files for 2 years?
Basically, man, it's just me and my dad, and we never have the time to watch it. So it's like it's taken me 2 years to get to like season 8 or something.
There is X-Files movies, isn't there?
There's 2, yeah. So and for I was gonna make a big thing with that, but yeah, they've already been made, and they're great as well.
Right, cool.
Second one, but first one's awesome. So for my one, kind of going on the other side of the spectrum, from like something modern to like something more of a sitcom, what my first choice was, have you guys ever heard of The Prisoner?
Oh.
The quite old movie from like the 60s, 70s?
It's not even a movie, it's a show. Might be in a movie, might be a different thing though.
Who was in it? Because I do know it.
It's 1960s.
Yes. Was that a TV show? Sorry, I thought it was a movie. But
yeah, it was one season.
I'm sure I've got a graphic novel adaptation of that somewhere.
Ooh, cool.
Don't
They
know.
made it into a mini series as well with Ian
Okay.
McKellen. I haven't watched that though.
Right.
It's Patrick McGoohan.
Yes.
Yes.
I've seen parts of it because my dad likes it.
Likewise, I've
watched the whole thing.
it's one of my dad's favourite shows. I kind of grew up on it as well. I've actually been to the place as well. It's in Wales. It's really nice.
Cool.
So it kind of that follows like a secret agent who wakes up in this kind of villa paradise island, with like no idea how he got there, and it's all very like uncanny valley. Everyone's super nice, and like just but like no one has a name. They're all like numbers. They're all assigned a number, and there's a lot of like just weird tension going on underneath until he kind of figures out what's happening, and it's like they kind of finds out it's almost like they're all conspiring to get like secret government information out of him, supposedly, and it's like some of it's quite dated now. Like there's the big main like sci-fi horror thing about it is like a big white balloon, and like people are going nuts, like oh my god! But it's like apparently like, it absorbs people.
There's an episode of The Simpsons that makes reference to it.
Probably,
that's what I know. That's what I know it from, because when you say big white balloon, I'm like that's it. That sounds really familiar.
I like how The Simpsons is just like a pop culture coverall. Like, if you've not seen the thing, you've probably seen it referenced in The Simpsons at some point.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Like my brain was like, why is that familiar? Oh yeah, The Simpsons.
Yeah.
That's
so
quite cool.
I'd love to see a film based out of that, because it's like it's just a super like interesting wee story, and it only lasted like a season as well. But I mean, super compact. You can make that. You can make it more actiony, or you can make it more psychological. There's a lot of routes you can go with it.
And I think people are more kind of susceptible to stuff like psychological horrors than they were maybe 10, 50 years ago, especially stuff that's on like a lower budget maybe as well.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to see it go back to the exact same place it takes place as well. It's like it's a place in Wales called Port Merion. It's like a wee villa resort you can stay in. It's like, it's so beautiful. But that's where it's known for being the site of the prisoner.
Cool.
So I'd love to see that recast. I don't really know who would play it though.
It's a good one.
Massimo, you brought up Dan Harmon. I've often wondered about a Rick and Morty movie. My thing that's stopping me is, as the case with a lot of Rick and Morty ideas, it's the fan base.
Oh man!
I mean, how bad was the Szechuan sauce incident? If you put a movie in the cinema, you would have that tenfold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's like
I'll be honest. See, recently as well, this is one of those things. The quality of writing on Rick and Morty hasn't been up to par.
I've enjoyed this season so far.
I've enjoyed bits. The first 3 episodes of this season were good, and then I think after the spoilers, the giant incest baby really not it for me.
What?
Really not it for it.
I thought it was a fun episode.
No, it's a fun episode, but then I was like, okay, it's a sperm joke, and it's like, oh, Rick was going to use some for the horse, but I was like, okay, I get it. It's one of those tropes. But see the stuff earlier that happened in the season, like the episode with Mr. Nimbus, and then that was super cool. I did like the Voltron episode as well, even up until the incest baby, probably. Like, I thought that was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
The one where they have the car, that was also really good as well. But then I'm like, okay, the one with the turkey episode,
one with the peasant. I was
I know. I was like, and you're like, it's been really hit or miss. So. I don't know. I feel like it's a great idea, but as I said, the fan base would rip it apart if it was even an inch out of place of what their expectation would be.
I also wonder, I think both the internet, the fan base, and the memes have kind of ruined the edginess and freshness of Rick and Morty somewhat. I think it's become a bit quaint.
I have not even watched the most recent season because I'm just like, the fan base totally threw it under the bus for me.
And I think like a lot of things, a movie would be too little too late sort of thing. I think if like they'd done it after season 2 when it was still a really hot property, people were still like, oh, this is such an exciting new show and it's pushing boundaries. Now it starts to feel a bit tired and a bit tropey. And it's kind of like, if they'd done a movie now, it would just feel a bit like a cash-in, maybe. I don't know.
If they did like a resurgence at some point in the future,
maybe wait a while. Maybe we need a break. Yeah.
I think as well, I feel like it could definitely work because everyone, although hates it, like obviously Rick and Morty's now being part of the metaverse and stuff with stuff like Fortnite and all these properties.
Oh, Jesus.
I know.
Freaking
So is that
Space Jam, man.
Space Jam as well. Like, that's what I'm saying is that, like, they've already had the tech kind of appearance in film and stuff like that, but for them to have their own film, you're right, it probably wouldn't be as fresh as it would have been maybe 5 years, like 3-4 years ago even.
But that is something I do wonder or think about, and I also think at the end of the day, although like the 3 years or something going, no, blah, 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 there's still a massive fan base. There's still like teenagers out there that would go and see that movie. Like, there's still money to be made.
If it was actually written by Dan Harmon, like full on, I think it'd be pretty good. If Roiland and Harmon actually took full responsibility for it, it would be up to par with probably the first maybe 1 or 2 seasons of the show.
Interesting.
Not to say the writing's not bad. It's the writing isn't terrible this season. It's just like it's not as good as it probably once was.
Also, the people running dry with it.
I also wonder if the Dan Harmon scandal somewhat has tainted
of course,
my enjoyment of Rick and Morty. But I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting question. Would you make it a live action or would you keep it animated?
See, I've seen a lot of live action casting ideas. I would personally just prefer to keep it animated.
I would do a thing.
Christopher Walken for Rick, and
I would do a thing where they would have it. They would have it as animated, but there would be a reference to like a live action universe, something like that, where they would go to.
Just like a quick kind of that X-Men closing the doors thing.
Exactly that. That would work with the show. Yeah. Like, oh well, here's this, and really weird. But yeah, no, I think I definitely agree. Rick and Morty could be something fun. So we were talking beforehand about this, and here's my cheat one, because there's technically already a film about it. Does anyone remember the TV show that came out? It was a few years ago now. It got cancelled. It was called Ash versus the Evil Dead.
Yes.
Okay, we already have an Evil Dead franchise. We've already got those films. However, I would love to see a movie based off of the show. So, because I feel like the show and the movie, although they're supposed to be like the first three, like Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 1 and 2, and Ash vs Evil Dead are all supposed to be the same universe. I feel like Ash vs Evil Dead, if it got its own film, would be incredible.
It's almost like a continuation, like that, because Ash vs Evil Dead is a continuation of the Evil Dead franchise.
Yeah.
But so it would essentially be like a third film. Yeah.
It will be like a fourth film, but
fourth film. Yeah, sorry.
But in its essence, it would be such a different film and different project, though. In my opinion.
I mean, if you go back through the Evil Dead movies, they are all tonally quite drastically different. The first Evil Dead is Evil Dead 2 is so classic compared to the first one. And then the third one, this is my boomstick, it just goes like another
Army of Darkness,
and then the show again's got a different tone. So I guess like shifting the tone wouldn't be unheard of. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying is I feel like if they shift the tone into a film and it was like that, even and I would say this as well, if they brought back elements of the originals, okay, that's fine. But I think if they made a new movie, it would definitely resonate with a new audience, and I think in my opinion, it definitely does count because Ash vs Evil is so drastically different from all the other stuff that I think it would work. And I actually really enjoyed that TV show up until it got cancelled.
Could you blend it into the Evil Dead remake they made?
Again, totally different tone though. The remake was so serious and so like.
Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure Bruce Campbell appears or. It's not a post credits.
I think he had a cameo. I don't remember.
So, like in theory, you definitely could do it, and it would probably work. And it could be this weird, gory mix of like super hyper intense gore, but also like really light, funny moments to contrast.
I'd be up for a kind of like tonally indifferent Evil Dead film.
Yeah, so it'd be like so stupidly like.
I just wait for the remake. That's all.
Yeah, I think the remake's definitely like a different. But I say it's such a different film. And I feel like, and I just honestly think that it should count for me personally.
So are you saying, Mass, are you seeing a movie made by the guys that do the show, basically?
Like, so a movie made by team? So that creative team, or even obviously with Sam Raimi's kind of creative guidance, but mainly written in the style of that show with those characters. Because other than Ash, there isn't that other than Ash and obviously the cabin and Necronomicon. There's not much of a connection to the original.
Yeah,
in terms of just like obviously like Warburton, of course, but it's so different because they even do a thing where they go back in time in the show and they change history.
The Army of Darkness thing.
Yeah, like not even Army of Darkness in the show. They obviously not as bad, but like in the show they do that, and in Army of Darkness they do the same thing. Like it could work arguably, but it's just my 2 cents on the matter anyway.
I wouldn't call that cheating because it's kind of, although there's already been like Evil Dead films and such, and it's came from like a film property. It would be its own thing.
It's like Highlander.
Yeah, aye.
I probably the best way. Highlander is so drastically different between the movies and the show and stuff like that. And
speaking of cheating, so what I had in mind was, now we're getting a video game adaptation into a TV series soon, The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather see it as a film. I'd like to see it done as a film before a show or over a show.
I disagree, so tell me why.
The game's already so cinematic. Like, we all kind of know that from the get-go. I'd like to see it done more in a cinematic style.
But my argument there would be TV isn't what it used to be. Nowadays, TV can just be
very cinematic, yeah.
I also think trying to adapt video games into movies, as we know, doesn't really work. And I think one of the main reasons is video games are long-form storytelling. I mean, you play through a game, it takes you about 12 hours, 13 hours on average. But as you sit down in front of a movie, it's like 2 or 3 hours if it's a long movie. I think Last of Us, like just the story is 13, 14 hours. Depending on what difficulty. But yeah, so I think you're already taking something that's long-form storytelling. So I think the best way to do that is to put it into like a 10-episode show, because that is, again, long-form storytelling. I think making it a movie, you lose something, personally.
I should mention as well, whether this is breaking the rules of it or not, I'd say like making like a trilogy of films is not off the table. So if we were to have more, if we were to have like a trilogy or just like Last of Us and a sequel, I'd be up for that. I
feel like it would suffer too much of the fact that it would become too much like the zombie movies of old. Like, I feel like it would, like, that. I can understand where you're coming from, Ben, but the thing is, for me personally, I agree with Dan, just because of the fact he said long-form storytelling. And, of course, over the trilogy of movies, it definitely does work. But with a TV show, you could tell it all in, like, you could tell 3 movies worth of stuff in, like, 12 episodes.
Like, the benefit of having it as a show is you can really have fleshed out characters and such in development.
Like, if you're talking about a series of movies, I mean, look at the Resident Evil movies. There's like 8 of them.
Well, see, the way I'm looking at it more so is look at the Quiet Place films. That's kind of how I'd see. For me, A Quiet Place really is The Last of Us to me.
I was going to say, like Mash just said, though, you run the risk of doing that, and then people that haven't played the game that see The Last of Us film, and they're just like, oh, it's just A Quiet Place.
Well, hold on, I'll sell you on the film though.
Okay.
Josh Brolin's in it.
As Joel?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm looking forward to Pedro Pascal.
So am I.
I wanted Nikolai Coster-Waldau. I thought he would have been perfect.
Is he again?
Yeah, Jamie Lannister.
Oh, Jamie Lannister. Oh, yeah.
I thought he'd have been perfect for Joel, but I'm looking forward to Pedro Pascal.
I've got a weird one as well. Like, if he was a bit older, do you know the iZombie actor, Rahul Kohli?
iZombie.
No. So he's actually really he's in Haunting the Hill House. He's in Black Mass as well.
I know
he's coming out as well. Yeah, he's like, if he was a bit older, it would probably work a lot better because he's got really good acting chops, and I feel like he
kind of looks like, see in the start of Last of Us when you see young Joel.
Yeah,
he sort of looks like that version of Joel.
Yeah,
when he's like in his 30s or whatever.
What was his name again?
So it's Rahul Kohli, I believe it is. So obviously it's a different race than Joel is in the.
Yeah, but so is Pedro Pascal.
Exactly. So. That's what I'm saying. So for those out there who hate it, but he's done iZombie and stuff like that. But I think he's a really good actor, and I feel like that's
I
what
can
I
see that.
think.
Yeah, just Google him. I can see that.
Another one I thought as well was, by the way, I think Mr. Fantastic as well is another one he can maybe do because.
Did we not include him in the X-Men casting, or was it for the Fantastic Four casting? We mentioned him at some point for something.
Did we?
In a podcast episode, yeah, I'm pretty sure we did.
Oh God, I don't know. It's been so long.
I think I did actually. I just don't remember who it was for.
Maybe
it was Wolverine. I don't know.
I don't watch this show.
Can't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, there's I can see the benefits of having it as a show. I'd just like to see Josh Brolin. in a Last of Us film.
Like very No Country for Old Men.
Very, pretty much.
I can see that. I can see definitely how that works.
Back to you, Dan. You got
right.
You got anything?
I'm having a wee think. I don't really know. I've got a few spinning around my head. I'm like, True Detective, how would that look?
Was that not made into a film?
No.
No?
Oh,
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then I'm wondering Stranger Things, how would that turn out as a movie?
Ooh.
Probably.
I mean, the issue with, like we're saying about it being similar to other properties, the issue with Stranger Things is it already apes 80s horror Stephen King movies.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So if you made it in a movie, would you kind of just lose that? Would it just be like another one of them? No, I actually don't really know. If you put a gun to my head and was like, pick a movie, TV show to be made it a movie, I'd maybe actually say like do a comedy, do like a, I don't know.
I'm scared you're gonna steal mine.
Oh, was yours a comedy?
Kinda, yeah. But also, like my one would give you an idea as well. But I can give you one if you want.
No, do you know what? There's only one season of it so far, which is why I wasn't going to bring it up. But did you guys watch the Gangs of London TV show?
No.
No, I heard all about it though.
It was great, and it was the guy that did the raid, the Welsh guy, Gareth Evans. Oh, review for the raid on the website. That was a phenomenal show, and although I'm looking forward to the second season, we all know that Gareth Evans can make a movie because the raid movies were awesome. So yeah, I'll say that. I'll say Gangs of London. I also can't remember if it's Gareth Evans or Garth Edwards. One of them done Godzilla and Rogue One, and the other one did the raid movies. They're both Welsh, and they both have really similar names. So, yeah, take a pick.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Just like really, oh man.
I think it's Gareth. Yeah. I need to
I
check
think
it.
Gareth Evans did the raid, and I think Garth Edwards did Rogue One.
Right, Ben.
Review for Rogue One on the website too.
Plugged it.
I don't know how many times I've linked Rogue One.
I know.
5 times.
Probably the most like one. Have you got one, Ben?
So now that we're kind of at that, but I've got a bunch, and they're all animated ones.
See, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So the one I'm leaning on most is I'd like to see Archer, but made into a live action.
A bit of confession, I've never actually sat down and watched Archer.
No?
I've seen wee clips of it and I've thought that looks really funny, and I've seen other people watching it and went, I need to watch that show, and I just never have.
It's quite.
I should get around to it. But...
Honestly, it's kind of like you can like have it on in the background. There's no real big plot to it. They're all more like just like singular episodes, and there's very like, little like an actual story going on. Yeah, there's fun stuff like that. So I'd like to see that as a live action adaptation. It's who you would get to play Archer though. That's something I've always got John Hamm in mind because he has some good comedy chops. Andy Oak's apart. I don't know if you. Yeah.
Could you not argue he's getting a bit old now for that? Could he still do?
I'll take him.
I mean, if you remember,
he's still great.
Have you seen Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Yes.
Henry Cavill in that is pure spitting image of.
Sure.
Oh yeah, I could see that actually.
Yeah.
I love seeing the comedy chops.
I was worried you were going to say Army Hammer there. Nah, that's a Hannibal Lecter film.
Silence Salams.
The thing with Archer as well is, with the exception of Archer, who looks nothing like the actual voice actor, the rest of the voice actors are the spitting image of their characters.
Right.
So you could bring in like Aisha Tyler and such.
That'd be cool, man.
Yeah.
You're right, Mass.
My brain! I just unlocked a memory and I think I've got one.
There you go.
Right. So, okay, this is one of those ones. I don't know if it would work, but I'd love to see it. And are any of you guys familiar with a show that was on the BBC in the early 2000s called Life on Mars?
Yes.
Familiar with it?
Yes, it had John Sim.
John Sim in it, and it also had I can't remember the guy's name. But played the character of DCI Glenn Hunt.
He was in Ashes to Ashes.
Yeah. Ashes is the same show. It's
a spin-off, right?
It was a continuation. So that
continuation. Yeah. Sequel. Yeah, sure. Okay.
I would love to see a full-length film set in that universe.
So what was Life on Mars? Was it a comedy or like a sitcom kind of situation? Or
it was like a police drama, but
It was also kind of sci-fi, though. It was also
but
kind of time
also
travel.
sci-fi, but also not sci-fi. Like they never
Yeah.
really properly
Yeah.
confirm it. So basically, the main character is a cop in the modern day, and he gets into an accident and slips into a coma, but also travels back in time.
Hmm.
And when he travels back in time, he ends up solving a case or whatever that's really similar to the one that he's on.
And the song that's playing in the car at the time was Life on Mars.
Life on Mars.
Yeah.
Ah, nice. That's like Hitchhike there.
So they made a US remake of it, and at the end of that show, it turned out that instead of it being like super ambiguous, it turned out he was just in like hypersleep in a spaceship, actually going to Mars.
Was this an American remake?
That was an American remake.
Oh, right.
It completely ruined the ambiguousness.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was. It's terrible, man.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I think if they really leaned on the sci-fi aspect of it as well, or the supernatural, because they hint as well, like it's about the afterlife and all that.
Yeah,
like that's what it is, and like I feel like there's so many good parts of that show. Like it's a sci-fi, but it's also like it's like psychological.
Yeah,
and
it's also got like heartfelt moments as well. Right?
Yeah, it's some really heart. It's also funny as well, and like Ash as well, also pretty good. I didn't enjoy it nearly as much, and I don't know. I think that was more the setting more than anything else because they set it in London during the 80s, I think it was.
Yeah.
Versus like Manchester. Yeah, like Manchester in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Which I think works a lot better for the character of DCI Gene Hunt. But I think if any of those who are fans of the show, it's a phenomenal show. You should definitely go watch it. It's only a few seasons. It used to be on Netflix, but I don't know what it is anymore. But it is the original British BBC version is fantastic in my opinion, and I think if it got a film, it would be quite. It could be quite subversive. Like it could honestly be like one of those films. It's like it could obviously be like an indie film, but at the same time, it could be quite fun and interesting. Especially if you maybe take a different spin on it and lean into different elements of the film that maybe the show didn't explore as much.
I just had a thought. Do you know what's fascinating? How come Ricky Gervais can make brilliant TV and can't make a good movie?
He's Ricky Gervais, that's why.
Like, no, but like The Office and Extras and The Afterlife are phenomenal, and then you see like The Invention of Lying and these films.
Ghost Town.
Like, yeah. Garbage, man. Terrible.
Yeah.
Weird. Something else I was thinking, right? I know I didn't really give a proper answer for that last one, but I'm trying to think of like I'm trying to think of a TV show that started off brilliant and then went on too long, because surely that's the perfect formula for a movie. Something that's a good idea, but has outlasted its welcome. Do you know what I mean?
All of the shows on the CW.
Like I feel like that's a perfect formula for a TV show movie, right? Like
you're right, yeah, no.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I'm trying to think because there's obvious answers like The Simpsons and stuff, but
the Mentalist, you could say.
Mentalist,
really cool premise, but on a bit long.
Yeah. Mad Men.
Mad Men's an interesting one, isn't it? Because people really like, The Sopranos is getting its own film as well.
Yeah,
nice. Fucking Saints of Newark.
Prequel movie,
yeah.
With James Gandolfini's actual
son. Yeah, Mike Gandolfini. Like, I feel like it's not as unheard of for shows to be resurrected in some sort of movie form, whether that's a prequel or a sequel or whatever. It's just like, I feel like we've been spoiled so much with how good television is now. That we forget that some things will actually just serve better to be as films.
But that's what I was going to say when we were talking about the video game adaptations. I feel like people always like to talk about how come there's never been a good video game movie, what is the curse that they can't translate it, blah blah blah. And genuinely, I think that's the issue. I think it has to be long form. I think cutting it down doesn't work, and I think up until recently, TV hasn't been good enough to do a good adaptation, and it's only because TV, since like the rise of Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad and all these shows, it's really stepped its game up, and Netflix obviously, it's really TV's really stepped up its game, and now it's viable to tell a story, a long form story at that level. Do you know what I mean? I think that's what was missing before, and that's why like Resident Evil and the Doom movie and stuff happened. Like,
I think just think in general. Like, I think in general. Because television is getting so good, I feel like we're losing the thing of like having films that are just standalone stories.
Honestly, like I think it was also because of during lockdown. Like, see all these movies that came out during lockdown, a lot of them just felt like extended TV shows to me. It didn't feel like we were watching a film. Like
Tenet was one of them for me.
Wonder Woman 84 was definitely one of them. Like, there was a lot of movies that just went straight to streaming that I was like, I would not have seen this in the cinema if I'd known Like I probably would have, but I'd have been disappointed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though we're only watching it in the house because of lockdown, I'm like, thank God we're watching this in the house. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause, like,
If I paid £8 to go see this or £9 or whatever, it's like.
Speaking of which, I want to discuss Don't Breathe 2 at the end of this episode, but we'll get there.
Oh, have you seen it now? Yeah.
I seen it last night. Yeah.
Ooh.
I think that's just pretty much wrapped with the topic. To be honest,
guys, we did it.
We did it. We actually did
that was an actual brief discussion. That was 35 minutes. That's the quickest discussion
God.
we've ever had on that show.
We were shitting ourselves before that.
We fired through that, man. That was quality.
It's good. If you guys have any of your own ideas or suggestions of that you think deserve movies from TV shows, leave them in the comments below. Fire some messages onto the Facebook message board on the BGCP Comic-Con group and stuff like that. Obviously, link the podcast where you do it, otherwise people might think you're crazy just mentioning all this stuff. But yeah, please tell us what you think. Yeah.
In which case, go nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Go nuts. I think.
It's engagement.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you think we're terrible people for the TV shows we like, dislike us. Engagement's good.
Can this video get equal likes and dislikes?
one to one. So I think that pretty much covers it. So I think it's time for news of the week.
We don't need a transition. We did this good.
Shit, where's the thing? Okay, here we go.
Ting.
Can you hear it?
Nope.
I can't.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Hey.
I can't hear it. Is it playing? Okay, good. This isn't going to be...
News. Right, cut it now. There we go. Right. So, news of the week. What we got, boys?
Ben, you had a few that you put in the chat. I don't know if you want to kick it off.
Yeah. First one, and I think it's the big thing that everyone's going to talk about right now, is Tom Hardy's came out before the release of the next Venom and said he really wants to get Spider-Man involved. It seems a bit like, yeah, of course you do.
Listen, Tom, if you wanted to be in a movie with Spider-Man, you should have just did Wolverine and then MCU, like everybody wants you to, instead of this shitty Sony Venom movie. Like, what are you? No, you should know better. Like, you're a good actor. You're in Chris Nolan films. You're in Peaky Blinders. You should know better. Why are you doing? See that every time I go to cinema, and I see that stupid trailer, man. When he's like, "I'll let you eat everyone." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, Jesus. And at the end, when he's like, "You need some serious couples counselling," I'm like, "Who wrote this absolute horse shit, man?"
I've only ever seen the first trailer, and that first trailer played the cinemas the other night.
I really like Rex in the morning.
Don't watch the second.
No, don't. I've heard good things about the second as well.
Oh Christ! Venom headbutts him at the start. And he's like, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to do it again." And headbutts him again. And you're like, "What is this absolute shit I'm watching? What has happened?"
I was looking forward to it as well.
It's so bad. It's so shit. And then Woody Harrelson bites his hand and he's like, "I've tasted bloods, but that's not it." And you're like, "I don't get it, mate. You fucking eat people." Like,
is that how he becomes Carnage?
I don't know. That's going to make it look like in the trailer, but surely not. Like,
is that no? Because that would. Can you imagine this? Oh yeah, he bit him, he ingested him, and then got electrified.
The rules are just up to him at this point.
Just make it a fucking God.
That being said, though, see with the trailer, there is like there's a brief moment where Woody Harrelson's, I'm not going to call him Carnage, Woody Harrelson. He's Woody Harrelson in this film. He's writing a note.
It's a biopic.
Yes.
He just walked on set.
He's playing his dad because his dad was an actual hitman.
Right. It's like he's writing a letter and there's a spider that walks across the paper and he smashes it.
Yes.
That to me isn't a thing of like, oh, he's like that's Venom. No,
that's him shitting him.
Yeah.
That's him shitting himself because he's seen a spider. Ah, fuck!
Oh, I see the extended scene now. But no, that is like Venom's got nothing to do with spiders. At least not in this kind of universe. I was going to say
Venom does because in the comic,
he's attached
in the comics,
Spider-Man's powers and he gives it to Eddie Brock.
This is the thing that doesn't make any sense with those films. the suit shouldn't look like that because he doesn't have anything to base off of.
Yeah.
It should just be a fucking...
He also just looks like, review for Venom on the website as well, the suit looks weirdly bare without the white spiders. See, when it's just like the black thing with the weird white veins, it just looks...
Because they're trying to do it, but trying to be like,
It's no. Listen, Tom, it's not happening, right? Just make your shitty film and then come and join the X-Men.
Just whatever.
It's gonna happen.
Whenever it's the eventual fucking reboot.
With Mobius, is it Mobius? I'm getting Mobius.
They're trying to weirdly link that to the MCU.
Because Michael Keaton's in it.
Apparently, there's a spray of one of the Spider-Men as well in the back.
Yeah, and like a graffiti.
Yeah, but it's Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. It's not
perfect.
Tom Holland.
Cool.
That's what I'm saying. You get some weird Elseworld bullshit where it turns out this is like the original.
I think the techs just haven't done their job. Like I've seen all these theories online. I'm like, you're not giving them too much credit. That's just a bad film. They've just not done their research. Like Spider-Man, I made Google Spider-Man. That'll do that one there for the film for 15 years ago. Like just whack it in. Sorry, cool mate.
Well, clearly the people behind Venom 2 heard Dan right now, so they've delayed Venom 2 until October 15th.
Delay it forever.
Oh, surprise!
Burn the cinema like Inglourious Bastards.
Surprise! The film that's been delayed once already has been delayed again.
Yeah.
Listen,
this is getting New Mutants energy.
Do you want to know the worst thing about this? Not that we don't get to see this crap film soon, but because it's worrying. Like, I thought COVID was kind of almost done and shit would stop getting delayed, but see the fact this is delayed, it's like, are we still doing this? Are we still delaying things?
I think it's because the film's shit.
I hope so.
I'm telling you, they've heard Dan and what he thinks of it already.
What can I say, man? I'm a big influence. I'm a big deal.
They're going to put more Fast and Furious in it.
I'm kind of a big deal.
I'm kind of a big deal. No.
Yeah, I don't know. Just don't do it. Sorry.
Speaking of films that could end up getting delayed, we got a live action cast for the upcoming Avatar: The Last Airbender adaptation.
Yeah, but also no, because I remember the past news.
Exactly.
I'm indifferent about this because I'm a weep. So...
Shut up, man.
It's not even an anime, it's a cartoon, mate.
It's American.
Anime is not what difference? It's not a cartoon.
Don't right. Dumb it.
Fight you on this one. No.
Please, come. Summarize. No,
I'm gonna go Airbender on your ass.
Fucking hell. No, so the thing is with this is that the start of this show, when it came out originally, when all the stuff came out and all the concept art and all the stuff like that came out for it was like really promising because the original creators were involved. The original creators have now since bowed out of the project.
I forgot about this. Yeah.
And I don't know, whenever that happens, it's usually not that good.
With that being said, though, read into it a bit more in regards to the casting and also what the producer is now said about it. And he says his main goal right now is authenticity. He wants to make it as authentic to the show as possible, however he can. And he's very passionate about it.
I mean, it's
so
nice.
It's a little bit, yeah.
Everyone not being white. That's lovely.
Yeah.
This is topical. This is a TV show that's been made into a movie, I just realised.
Yeah, but it's already did because M. Night Shyamalan.
Are you really accepting that happened? Because
no.
I didn't even like the cartoon. Film wasn't
yeah.
I was
going to say, it's okay if you want to make that into a movie because we don't talk about that one.
Yeah, no,
that's the one exception.
There is no movie for the Avatar.
It was just a collective dream.
Yeah. That's some weird shit, I don't know. So we all simultaneously just trip balls.
That should be a topic one week. If you can remove one piece of media from history, what would it be?
And what's the cause?
M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar: The Last Airbender. Moving
what is the knock-on effect? Does Shyamalan never make splat?
I would pick Helter Skelter.
What, because of the Manson thing?
Because the Mansons.
Okay, I was trying to keep it light. Let's go there.
Jesus.
Also,
do you not like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that much?
I mean, I'll be honest, Margot Robbie's feet really just pushed me over the edge in the amount of screen time.
Literally.
Speaking of, did you see that trick in Suicide Squad was real when she unlocks the
That's
key?
actually her, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's doing Michelle Pfeiffer vibes and doing her own stunts and stuff, eh?
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, we should probably say that on the casting of Avatar, It has found its 4 series leads. I think it's Gordon Cormier. God, Jesus Christ. Keo, I'm
Thanks
so
for taking this
sorry.
one, Mass.
I'm so sorry. Right,
Bring it
Kiawentio.
back.
Kiawentio.
If I
Ian
talk
Osley
over you while you do it, you can mumble them.
and Dallas Liu have all joined the series. Cormier will star as Aang, with Kiawentio set to play Katara. Usley will play Sokka, and Liu will play Zuko. And if you look at them, they all look pretty fucking smart.
Is that words you're saying or what? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
There's surnames and
When you nailed it, Dan.
Who's playing Danny Zuko?
Hey, I'm here to get the Avatar.
You remember Grace very differently from everyone else, Mass.
Got a sight of Italian ham in his face.
It's said, where's my meatballs?
No, it's kind of just they look awesome. Like Aang especially looks like he looks the part,
and it's a nice mix of different types. It's obviously like kind of different like ethnicities in Asia, in general, like
like sub ethnicities,
that kind of stuff. Like it's kind of a nice wide representation of that kind of culture and region, which is nice. I'm still waiting on who they're gonna have play Uncle Iroh. Because I'm gonna
cry.
Man, it's gonna cry.
Does he die? Is he a bad character or what?
No, he's a good character. He's the best. He's like the mentor character. He doesn't die, but his voice actor passed away.
It's the what the hell's his name? Crap.
Yeah.
Really good actor.
I mean, look, he's in so much.
No. The hell's his name again?
The actor is. Oh my god! Hang on.
You may get the replacement actor.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Voice. Mako Iwatasu.
Mako
Iwatasu.
I think he did like
Samurai Jack. Back in Conan.
Oh yeah, he plays what the hell? Crap. He was in. I think he was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as well.
TNT. Yep. He's in Highlander 3: The Source.
Aye.
Okay,
he's like the grizzly voiced Asian guy.
Yeah. No, he's such iconic. But such an iconic voice actor, and like just in general, like was obviously when he passed away. It's like so sad, and that episode, is it Tales from Ba Sing Se?
Yeah,
it's fucking phenomenal. That's the one episode. If you don't really like anime or animation, Dan, and you were to watch Avatar, it's the one episode you should watch is Tales from Ba Sing Se. It's fucking phenomenal.
Okay, I would.
That's like a nice wee anthology episode as well.
Yeah, it's so different from all the other stuff. Like it's
cry all the time.
I know.
It's my favourite show.
It's great.
Hey, guys, you like video game remakes?
Yeah.
Depending.
We're getting the GTA good game trilogy
remastered. I like that. I like some of that.
We're getting GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas remade. Vice City being clearly the best out of the three. That was a joke because everybody's favourite San Andreas, but mine's is Vice City.
I really like Vice City. I feel like
Vice City's a masterpiece, man, and they need to get me loyal back for 20%.
Because I was gonna say because we technically already kind of got a remaster of San Andreas with fucking GTA 5.
Yeah.
In my mind, like we've already seen that.
I would take another round up remake, like happily.
Imagine the GTA 5 engine with fucking Vice City, man.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean, I've been wanting that for years. But that's what I'm saying. The fact that we're getting GTA 3 and San Andreas as well is just like a bonus, I think.
I think they're gearing up to when they release. Because there's no way they would do complete map remakes if they weren't going to use it in a future project.
Totally.
You know? And they're
they'll probably be developing 6, but it's probably not going to be ready for a few years. So they've probably thought, people are wanting this remade, so let's do this using the engine in the meantime, and then it buys them like another few years to.
And then you can reuse the assets and stuff like that as well.
Totally.
Bang
up for this one.
It's also being made in Scotland, I believe, as well by
nice.
Rockstar Dundee. I think are the main. The main company that are currently working on it.
Yeah, Rockstar, the Scottish Rockstar's the main Rockstar. The other ones, it's a Scottish company. It was the two Scottish brothers.
No, I couldn't remember if they transferred the main office abroad though. That's what I couldn't.
No, I mean they've got their offices all over the world, but the main one's in Scotland.
Yeah.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I am actually kind of excited for that because video game remakes are hit or miss, so I really hope it's not a terrible cash grab.
Mm.
Well, we're on video game
At
news.
least they're not doing Grand Theft Auto 5 again, for Christ's sake.
I mean, they are, but it's just not
Oh,
released
for
yet.
goddamn, yeah.
It's just Skyrim at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, but talking of like actual fresh video game ideas, there is a new studio being formed by the guitarist from Nine Inch Nails and the guy that directed Spec Ops: The Line,
Yeah.
Robin Fink, and who's the Spec Ops: The Line guy? Something Davis, Corey Davis. I don't know if you guys played Spec Ops: The Line. What an underrated masterpiece of game that is.
It's kind of...
It flew under the radar because it came out at the time there was so many military shooters out, but this one was so different. It was so psychological. It was like a mix between Heart of Darkness and Fight Club.
That's what I've never played it, but I've only heard good things about it.
Absolute masterpiece, man. No one else was the main character, and yeah, that game is one of the games that will change you. Like, see if you play it, you're like, I don't know, games could do this. Like, I've not had that since like Metal Gear or Portal 2. Like, do you know what I mean? It's up there with them for me. Like,
is that the one with the big twist at the end where it turns out you're a bastard?
There's a really layers to that twist.
It's
like Bioshock Infinite, but a good twist.
I like them. Listen, all right. You know,
first Bioshock's the best Bioshock.
I love Crazy Infinite Multiverse theories. That's why I like Loki.
I just prefer the first Bioshock twist to afterwards.
Yeah.
But hey, hopefully we're getting forward with Ken Levine. But anyway, yeah, I mean, there's nothing announced from this studio other than the fact they're making a cosmic horror game, which sounds cool.
What's the thing with the shrieking in the desert? Seen that something to do with it?
It's the trailer is just this really. It kind of looks like a trippy Nine Inch Nails video, and it's like weird kind of effects and the odd bit of guitar, and then this text comes up on the screen. These random words like soul and just different words, kind of creepy, like eerie words, and then at the end it's just a big scream, and then the title comes up.
It sounds. It's not like
Eyes Out Studios. Yeah.
It's kind of not very traditional, which is interesting.
Do you know what? I appreciate anything that's not just a corporate logo. Like, oh, here's our new studio. Like, see something that's a bit like, let's do something weird. Like, I'm into that, man. Do it. Go for it.
Of course. Sounds well done.
Do we even talk about the fact that Blue Box let us down again?
No, we don't. We're literally, as you can see, there's a funny Photoshop. I don't know if you put it in the video, Dan. Like superimpose it over something. It just says blue balls.
Blue Ball Studios.
I'm so confused.
I wrote an article on this, but yeah, it's just.
And me and Dan have done two separate videos talking about it.
I'm going to just sum it up saying, lads, shit or get off the pot.
Exactly.
It's time to do something or
get your finger at your ass.
This is.
You could even say, get your knuckles at your ass. Oh,
breaking news.
Segue. Oh, transition.
Segue.
Nice.
Who the hell seen this coming?
Do you want to expand on that? Don't expand the knuckles in the arse, that's not what I meant. Please don't expand on that.
Moving on.
Yeah, Idris Elba's playing
Sonic.
Knuckles,
No,
How the hell are we getting Idris Elba's knuckles? How did this happen?
Fuck it.
I know,
I'm up for that, yeah.
Awesome, why not? Who cares? It's the Sonic film. You know what? That's all we need to say about it. Because, like,
I've still not seen it yet, but I'm just like, this is. Oh, I need to see this.
Right. I need to wrap up fairly shortly. I don't know if you guys are good for news. What you've been watching.
I think, that's it. Yeah.
I just quickly wanted to talk before I boost about Don't Breathe 2.
Go for it. Is
it
weird?
No, do you know how I'm going to sum it up? Have you seen the first one?
Yes.
Right. So, see how the meme that says the boss when you fight against them at the end of the game, and it's this big badass armored muscly dude, and then it's the boss when you unlock him as a playable character. Wimpy. That is this movie. Like, see, because they've made Stephen Lang the protagonist, they've just nerfed him. He's a pure wimp. Like, he gets knocked down every 2 seconds. And it's just like the first one. He was like a machine, like an unstoppable killer machine, like Michael Myers or Jason. And then this one is just like an old man that you can push over because he's blind. Like, he just doesn't feel like as tough or as hard at all, and it's. And also, I mean, the fact to kind of try and make him a good guy, you're like
after the weird basement
stuff, things, man. But they kind of explain it like. He's not really the good guy by then, but he's the lesser of two evils.
He's the middleman, essentially.
And then it just kind of ends. But there was never a point. I kept waiting for the point where, like, the basic premise is, right, he's got this daughter. He explains how he ended up with a daughter about halfway through the film, right? But he gets his daughter. These guys come to the house. Like, he hardly puts up a fight. They knock him in his arse to steal the daughter, right? So I'm like, this is about halfway through the film, and I'm like, he's not done anything bad. Actually, he's killed like 2 guys, and both of them were pure scrappy kills. Do you know what I mean? Like, he was lucky to get away, kind of thing. So at this point, I'm like, right, okay, something must kick into gear now. And he finds at the start of the movie this woman that he's friendly with dies. So he finds her van, and she's got a van full of like guns and knives, and it's like the scene in Batman where he's like suiting up, right? He's like putting the knife in his thing and he's loading the gun and that. And you're like, oh, here we go. This is going to be like a montage. He's going to go in and just kill all these guys one by one, Rambo style or Home Alone style, and get the wee girl at the end. And it just never does that. It just continues to be him being a wimp and like being lucky to win every fight. And you're like, and he just leaves the cinema feeling like unfulfilled. You're like, that's not what I went for. Like,
exactly, kind of disappointed you.
It's sequelitis. It's not as interesting as the first one. Basically.
Ben, what have you been watching? I assume.
So last night I went to go see Free Guy. Oh, and I've been waiting for that film for so long now.
And you're going to get it on this site, right?
I'm going to see it on Sunday, so try and keep it as spoiler light as possible, Ben, please.
Yeah, of course.
Seen it on Tuesday.
Is that done away now, or is he just whatever? Yeah. So I was looking forward to this film for so long, and it did not disappoint.
Like, thank God! I thought you were going to say it was.
It's the best cinema experience I've had in so long. And I was going to the cinema during the pandemic when it was allowed, and I was loving it. But I just enjoyed this so much.
I'm glad you're saying that, Ben, because I was really looking forward to it, and I've heard some not great reviews. So
it's like don't go in expecting like a total like
masterpiece.
No, even massive. Like, don't go in expecting like drama.
Film? Like, who? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I like Ryan Reynolds, but who is going to expecting Kino?
It is a Ryan Reynolds film.
You're not going to get Blade Runner 2049. That way,
see from the first minute in, dude. I was getting ear to ear. I'm like, I know what I'm in for, and it's doing it already. This big, like nihilistic chaos going on everywhere, and you get that whole like, Ryan Reynolds like fourth wall breaking monologue. It's just like, this is just another Deadpool, and I'm so in for it. And I will, without giving away spoilers. Oh, there's some Ryan Reynolds reference, like Ryan Reynolds like debauchery happening here. He's twisting the gears a wee bit. And he's poking. He's poking the fourth wall a wee bit.
I just want it to be fun. Like that's what I need.
Dude, from start to finish. Just so much fun, and it has its moment. It has its moments of like genuine like emotional development and character development.
I love that.
They don't overshadow it at all, and it's done in such a nice way. It's also a little bit thought provoking as well. It has a whole kind of Ghost in the Machine kind of vibe.
Really? Wow, I didn't expect that.
Not in any kind of like in depth way, but it's like it's kind of the idea of what it's going for, and it handles it really well. And also, you'll really be happy with this, Dan. It like handles the gaming industry with respect and like actual like passion. Cool. Nothing feels shoehorned here, and there's a bunch of references.
I love that.
that. Man. I'm excited.
See if we were to ever get like an actual video game movie, this is it.
Right.
Like it's incredible.
It's not based on a video game.
Not at all. That's how you do it.
I think in terms of stuff that I've also review can be found, hopefully linked in the description as well. For that, Ben's put that up. It's out now. It's fresh. It's hot takes. It's great.
I will link it below.
There we go.
Yeah.
But in terms of things I have been watching this week, I'll be honest, it's been pretty much the same. I've got a TV show for every different week. None of them that nerdy. None of them that gamey. Honestly, it's one of those things.
Ted Lasso.
I still watch Ted Lasso and still fucking loving it. It's such a good show, and I recommend you watch it regardless of if you know how you feel about it, how you feel about like football or anything like that. It's not about football; it's about the people behind the club. And I can't keep stating this. It's a really interesting character study on people in general. I'm also watching another Apple TV Plus show called Shamidigan. With
it's like a weird musical with Key and Peele and stuff, or one of Key.
It's got Keegan. It's got Keegan.
Key, right?
It's Keegan Michael Key in it. And it's got what's her name? I'll have a look. Her name is Melissa something.
I seen a bit of the first episode, and I thought it was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
I'll be honest.
Absolute shite.
I'll be honest. It's a weird one. Because it's still actually streaming on Apple Plus. Our name is Cecily Strong. And it's got Dove Cameron as well. But honestly, I'll be quite honest. Not bad, but I can definitely see how the first episode can really deter you because they do spend the whole time making fun of musicals and musical tropes.
While doing a musical.
Yeah, while doing a musical. So yeah, and Martin Short's in it as well as a leprechaun.
To remember from it, yeah.
Martin Short's a leprechaun.
Yeah.
So
Martin Short's great, but I'm not watching
it. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. Watching this week. And I believe with me saying that is where we have to call time, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're going to do. If you guys have enjoyed listening to this podcast where we three idiots talk about random topics, go check out the back catalogue of stuff we've been posting for the past 6 months. This is probably episode 23, 24 maybe? 23. Yeah, there we go. We're still going strong. We're still doing it regardless of, the fact that, we're still in a little bit of a pandemic situation, but we will keep going, ladies and gentlemen.
Next week, we've got New Blood as well, right?
Next week we do. We have a premiere appearance that we're going to save special until they appear on the show.
And Chrissy might be back.
And Chrissy also might be back as well, who we do love to bits. In terms of how you guys could support us, if you want, you could subscribe, you could like the video, you can dislike the video, leave a comment, as I said, talking about what kind of stuff that you think should be turned into movies from TV shows. If you would like to stay up to date on the latest news, reviews, and comic book kind of interviews and stuff like that, have a look at the BGCP Comic Con website, where you can find all the reviews and some of the news pieces that we've mentioned today available. You gonna say something, Dan?
Boom.
As a discussion next week,
we're flipping it.
We are flipping it next week, and hopefully...
So it'll be films that deserve a show.
Exactly.
That'll be so much goddamn easier.
Exactly. We'll scramble last minute for it. But, if you guys out there can have a look on social media, you can find us at BGCP Comic Con on, I believe, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I think on Facebook we're Big Glasgow Comic Page, and we're also BGCP Disassembled as well, which is the official podcast group. I don't believe we have a Reddit, but we also have a Discord server as well that you can join to the Linktree. It's available on the Facebook and also, I believe, on the website. So, boys, thank you for joining us today.
It's good to be back.
Thanks, Massimo.
It's always good to have you on, and we will catch you guys on the next page.
Thank you for listening to Disassembled. You can find more news and reviews on BigGlasgowComicPage.com. And don't forget, you can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as BGCP Comic Con. Make sure you also subscribe on your podcast provider of choice for new episodes every week.